Welcome in to this week's edition of the MISL Weekend Review. My name's Nicholas Murray, very pleased to be joined by Chris Economides. And Chris, lots of action across the weekend on Friday and Saturday night, with the Baltimore Blast coming out with two very impressive victories. Now, obviously the Blast, solid offensively, but this defense has been almost impregnable since the start of the season. William Van Zelen with a sub-5 points against average, and he was our player of the week after two more outstanding performances.
Two very impressive wins against the upstate duo. Syracuse 7 come in first after having beaten the Blast last week up in Syracuse. A very impressive win. Syracuse stayed tough, close game the entire way. Baltimore held true to form. The following night, the Lancers came in after a big win up in over in Pennsylvania. It was close for about the first period, first quarter, half of the quarter. Then all of a sudden the onslaught began. Before you know it, it's 17-2 final. So Baltimore showing its form.
Really, really impressive. And they are right on the heels of the Milwaukee Wave, who took a very impressive victory against the St. Louis Ambush on Saturday night. And St. Louis actually gave them a bit of a go. He certainly was close at halftime, only 11-7. But then Marcio Leite comes in, has a hat-trick, adds to Ian Bennett's hat-trick, and suddenly the Wave pull away in the second half for a very impressive victory.
Yeah, I mean, St. Louis is on a little bit of a tailspin now, obviously having lost, I don't know how many games in a row. A tough loss the previous night in Kansas City. We'll talk about that shortly. Came back, played a little bit better in Milwaukee, but still the Wave just proved to be too much for the Ambush. And
the Wave still holding a half-game lead over the Blast for the top spot in the MISL standings. Now, you mentioned the Missouri Comets, and they took victory on Friday night. And this team, when it's clicking offensively, I'm not sure even Baltimore might not be able to contain it. A very, very impressive win. Leo Gibson, a goal and 4 assists. A couple of hat-tricks out there for Brian Harris and Stephen St. Louis. Just a really awesome display.
You hit it right on the head, Nicholas. I think when they're clicking on all cylinders, it's a scary, scary team. They can almost score at will. Obviously, they've had a couple of slips up and down here in the season. They're tied with Syracuse right now. It's still I think 1 through 4, any one of those teams could sort of interchange with somebody else, but they are a very scary team to play, and I certainly won't want to face them anywhere in the playoffs.
Well, that's it for us for this week. We hope you'll join us on Thursday for the MISL Weekly Podcast. But for Chris, my name's Nicholas. Thanks for joining us.